Hi everyone, it's Andy from Hobby Headquarters. Well, I've got something different and new to share with you guys today, and that is in this 35th scale Takom SAN 7 and 12 missile launcher. Now, this is, like I said, 35th scale. This is a shipborne missile launcher that Takom has decided to make the entire launcher unit. It's small, it's compact, and it's really actually kind of cool looking. As soon as this came in, I started coming up with some crazy ideas that I'm going to share with you at the very end of the video. But what I thought I'd do today, I was just going to do a preview, but I got so excited about it, I decided to do a preview slash build all in one video. I got, like I said, super excited about it, and I said, I got to build this. So this whole video is going to be the build and the painting of it. And then at the very end, stay tuned to the very end, we're going to show you what we plan to do with this in a future video. A little craziness going on right there. So, like I was saying earlier, these are available. We have them in our store and on our website, andyshhq.com, if you want to take a look at them. I think it's a really cool thing, and I'm going to have some fun with this right here. So, let's get started. So we're going to start off by taking a look at all the sprues before I cut them up and start gluing them together. And of course, this is the 35th scale Takom SAN 7, SAN 12 launcher. And it's a ship-based launch system, as you can see right here, with two different missiles inside of it there. And this goes along with their 35th scale series that they're doing a lot of naval, mainly Russian, naval guns and armaments packs. Kind of a cool looking thing. So let's just quickly take a look at the parts in here. And our first sprue here is part of the launcher. And I know if you guys are sci-fi kit bashers, there's a lot of cool stuff on this particular kit here that I think could get turned into some sci-fi stuff. But let's first take a look at the actual parts before we talk about that. And you can see here, nice rivet pattern on the side. Or bolts, I should say, probably on those. All the little accessories, little grab handles. And your ladders right there. Next up, we're going to take a look at the missile sprue. And you can see there's two different ones that we have on here with two different fin patterns. All of the railing pieces that are not on the other sprue are right there. And finally, the last plastic sprue is this one, which is our display base here, and a few other little accessories that will get put on the launcher. Just like that. And finally, we have a sprue of photo etch, which I'll just lay flat right here, and then we'll zoom in on it. And you can see those are some of the walkways and grates and stuff like that that'll get put on here. Really nicely done in photo etch. So you have now seen the entire model. There's only those four little sprues inside there, plus this fret of photo etch. So I don't think there's going to be much to putting this together. The instructions are the small scale ones, as you see right here. And very, very simple and easy to understand. So let's start building. Okay, you can see we're starting off building the side rails here. Now this one's already done. I've attached all of the little grab handles, things like that. But what I thought I would do real quick is show you on the grab handles. These are pretty easy. You can just get up underneath here really close with your sprue cutters and just softly drop them into place like that. Now it's sticking, but it's this particular one I want to talk to you about. You definitely want to go down the line and cut the back of here off, because if you try cutting down here, you could flex it and end up snapping them in half. So just go down the line and just cut those like that, then turn it around, and you should be able to just each one little one like that, and then the other side, and then it should fall right down there. And you should be good to go. Now, one thing I like to do on these two is, we'll get up kind of close on it, is when we glue them in place, I don't usually sand the tops while it's a separate piece, because you can put it on here and let it completely set up with the glue, and then you've got a real strong holder, and then you can come back and just sand them all in place, and you're less likely to snap these little fine little detail pieces. So on these side rails, there's about 7 grab handles that we have put on this one that we're going to sand now, so we've shown you, and also this one little flap right in here that we will duplicate just like, flip that around. That's going to get duplicated just like that. So I'm going to go ahead, put all those little grab handles on and glue this together on here, and then we can come back and glue both sides together. So I'm going to take care of that right now. Now we can glue both sides of these together. Just being very careful when we do not to knock off all of the little grab handles we put on. So once we line that up in the middle, we'll be able to go down the line and just put cement and seal this all up. And then once that is done, got to grab it in just the right spot. This piece goes onto the back, just like that. And then there's one more little access panel that will go in the back there as well. So I'm going to get those glued on, and then we can start to build the sides of it. Now I've built up one of them right here just to do a little test fitting on, and I will show you how the other one goes together. And here is the completed other rail with the little bit of photo etch landing right there on it. And I'll just show you how these basically go together. So it is a slide molded piece here. So all of this has been slide molded with lots of detail. This back piece will fit into place just like this. This has got the other part where the arm plugs in. You can see just like that. And then it's just a matter of going ahead and assembling the doors. There's a ladder on each one of on the door itself. And little trick, I have the grab handles right here, and just like I did on the other ones, I left the little burr on. It's easier to grab onto, easier to put into place, and then once you let the glue completely dry, come back with your nippers and just chop it right off there, and then you can sand it into place, and you have very little problem or the ability even to break it off later on. So works pretty easily. So it's just a matter of putting these couple of doors into place here once we get all this glued on, just like that. And then there's a little ledge with a little piece of photo etch, which is right here. And they give you the option of either the whole or the graded one, which I'm putting that on the entire piece here, this type of grading on it. So let me get this glued up right now. Okay, now we have all of those little handrails and things on, and there are just a couple of other little pieces we need to put on before we start putting the handrails on, including this little box, which actually goes on both sides of the piece. And then once that gets put into place, put a touch of cement here and here, we can go ahead and put the very first handrail into place as well. And it'll just fit right in there. And then once again, once all this dries, we can go ahead and sand off any of the excess without having to worry about breaking any of those parts. Now, what I need to do too, as you can see here, I've gone ahead and assembled the handrail. There is 2 of these on each one of these pieces with 2 different size bases to them, as you can see here. And this is very difficult to put together while on camera with a camera in front of me. It's not very difficult. It's time consuming because there's a lot of little individual bars that we need to put on here. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll show you the instructions. So to do first, you need to build up the base, which is applying these 2 little supports underneath, which you can see right here. I've gone ahead and put those on. And they're just little supports that are going to hold you onto the side. And then once you do that, there are a couple of different ones in here that are for the handrails. So there's 1 piece of handrail, 2nd piece, 3rd piece, and then these 2 little individual bars that will turn it all together into this top, like we've got it right here. once, not very difficult. It is time consuming, but it is kind of difficult to do with the big camera in my way and my fingers, you know, trying to push everything off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build all of these off camera. You can see how they go together in the instructions in here. And then once we get that, you can see, hopefully, there are some little indentations right there that line up with the actual bars on here. So I will go ahead and get those glued into shape just like that. And actually we'll push this one down a little bit more too. And I'll come back once we get all of those on and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I know I said I was going to come back after I put all of them in place, but I've gone ahead and just attached the first one, and I just want to comment on how well it fit into place. All the little things lined up just the way they're supposed to, and then kind of just fell in there. A couple little drops of the soup or the liquid cement, and it stuck right to it. So very, very happy with the way that it's going on so far. Now we do have to put the other one on the other side, of course, build up the handrails as well, but very happy the way that came out. Actually, it turns out I'm going to be able to show you a little bit of the construction of these handrails. And that is because I figured out that we can use this as a base and just build everything right around it here. So we're slowly but surely cutting out each one of these little pieces. And then once we cut them out, this I don't think we're going to be able to sand in place. So we're just going to lightly go over it right now with some sanding sticks, trying to be as gentle as possible. Get that little burr off there. Set it up in our tweezers. Put a little bit of cement on there. And then hopefully get it in place. And because it's so lightweight, it should stay roughly in that position right there. But what we will do is, this is the other piece that's going to go on here. After this sets up for about maybe another 3 or 4 minutes, I will go ahead and glue this into place while it's still a little bit flexible. That way we can make sure all of the parts line up, and then we'll walk away for a good, hour to let it fully dry and let the glue set up. There, and took a little bit of fumbling around, but I think we've got it. Now we just make sure it's in a straight position. Make sure it's all the way in, because there is a little pin in there. And there it is. I think it's going to turn out pretty good. So we're going to let that dry right now. And here is the piece with all of the railings dry. Now I let them dry overnight, and now I'm going to go back over everything and do a good sanding on all the seams. I'm going to shoot it with a coat of Mr. Surfacer once I get done with all the sanding to see what kind of flaws and errors I have in there that I can correct. But I think it'll do a pretty good job with that, and we're pretty much done with that portion of it after we get all the sanding done. Now I'm just going to show you the missile itself, and it's a two-part. I just put it together with the glue. We've got obviously a seam we're going to have to take care of down the center here. Plus then there are some extra fins we need to put on after we get those sanded. Simple enough. The jet for the back, the nozzle back here, goes just into place like that, and then there are two little fins back here as well. So it doesn't look super difficult to put together, as you can imagine. There is going to be a decent amount of sanding. Now I chose this particular one. There are two different missiles in it. In fact, I'll show you the other one right here with the bigger fin that goes all the way down. I don't know, just kind of like this one right here. I'll probably build this one up as like a backup, because once you get this, let's see if I can take this apart here and show you without knocking it all over. I put this piece in the middle here so it didn't fall over. It's just going to connect right inside just like this. That little piece will get glued on. So I think we can actually paint all this stuff here and paint the missile separate and still elevate this up enough to glue it on, so we're not having to try to take it apart once we've already put it together like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the sanding I need to now. I'm going to put all the fins on here, glue the nozzle in, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. I've gone ahead and glued down the two pillars here and put the actual holder of the missile in place, and went ahead and shot the entire piece with Mr. Surfacer 1000. Went and cleaned up any little areas still needed to sand, shot it with one more coat, and actually really like the color of this as it is. It is supposed to be like a naval piece, and I'm like, well, that's going to work out pretty good, I think, for a color-wise. And now I'm just taking panel liner black and gray from Tamiya, and we're just going, as you can see inside here, highlighting all of the little nuts and bolts, and doing a mixture of the two, mostly of the gray, so it's not too crazy, but it's kind of time-consuming. And this is my left hand, so I'm not left-handed. Just trying to get all of those bolts in there, and then going over it with the gray, kind of blend it together, and then cleaning it up slightly in any areas that we don't want with a cotton swab. And you can see it's really making all the little accessories really pop right out here, especially back over in here. And here is our completed model with a actually different missile on that. And that is because I messed up the other missile when I was doing a paint job. I had kind of a yellow and black paint job with some silver effects on it. And it was coming out really good until I decided to do too much, and I ended up messing up the back of it. I have it still. I've kind of started to strip the paint off of it, so eventually I can probably do something with it. But I thought, you know what, it's easier just to go ahead and paint up the new one and just do a basic gray with black, a couple of decals, and then the silver tip on it. You also may notice too, I've gone ahead and I've put the decal on here for the Takom symbol, which is what Takom uses on their box art. It's their flower pattern, and I thought it just fits perfectly on there in my opinion. And it's going to be kind of an unusual thing that we're going to do with this later on. I know I've been kind of alluding to that throughout the video, but I'll talk to you in one more minute on that. But let's first take a 360 view of it and talk about the kit. And as we come around here, as you saw, the kit went together, I thought, pretty well. This was a little bit of a finicky type of operation because it was just so thin. But once we put it into place, I thought it went on absolutely fine. And of course, we do have the ability to completely raise, lower, do whatever we want on that. And I think it makes a great desk piece just on its own. And it'll look good just showing off, just, you know, to go with all the other big guns and things like that Takom has come out with. But now I'm going to show you what I ultimately plan to do with this. And this is going to be some real crazy kit bashing. And I know it's not real, and it probably couldn't really exist. And if anyone puts that in the comments, you're missing the entire point of what I'm about to do. I'm doing this to have fun because I saw it and I thought this is going to look interesting. And what I'm going to do is first pull the camera back. There we go. And that is why, because I want to show you guys this. This is a kit that came out from Takom a couple years ago. It's their T14 Armada. And I've been wanting to do some kind of just crazy kit bashing thing for a while. And I saw the missile first, and then I kept thinking, and I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show you right now. We are going to build up in a very soon video the T14 Armada, just like you see it right here. This is kind of just put together there. But we're not going to build a turret. We are going to build a special drop-in unit that we are going to be able to mount this right on top of the Armada. Now, the Armada is a monstrous tank, as you can see right here. It's just huge. So it actually kind of fits, in my opinion, in scale, how this is going to look on top of here. So we'll build it up, no turret. We'll put all the extra stuff on the side there. I've got some ideas that this part right here, this is the turret ring. I think I can mount that right onto the bottom. There already is a turret ring, which, believe it or not, is the same size, but it doesn't stick out enough to lock it into place. So I put a little bit of plastic card down here and then glue that other ring on. We should have it just like this, where it'll be elevated, you know, just like maybe a 1/4 inch above that, so you can see all that bolt pattern down there. And we will have a totally unusual science fiction type Russian vehicle, let's call it. Because I know the Russians have other vehicles that shoot a whole bunch of these. But this is kind of just cool to put it on their brand new chassis. And it's the type of thing that can go real fast, get up to the point, fire its missile, and then get the heck out of there. So, and then it'll reload another way. I know that on the ship they reload from the bottom, all that. I know all this stuff. Remember, this is just having fun. That's what modeling is supposed to be sometimes. Just pretending and just going out there and just doing some crazy stuff. So look for that video in the very near future. I'm actually going to start on the chassis actually tomorrow. I have to do a few other things today now that I'm done with this, but very, very soon we'll have that out. And maybe, once we get it all done, we might even repaint the whole thing to do kind of like a crazy camouflage on it. Or we might just do the whole thing like in the grays, kind of like a ship colors. So we'll see when we get to that point. So there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video on that, and I hope you enjoy the one that's going to come out when we put all this together. Having some fun with that. I want to thank you, as always, for watching, and please stay tuned because we have many more videos coming.